The title of this video is exactly as it seems. Today we're redrafting the 2017 NHL Entry Draft, but we're not doing this in the traditional format. It's easy to take a look at 2017 and say, okay, the best players from the draft, Pettersson, Makar, Heiskanen, and you can just put them in the top three and that'll be our redraft, put everybody else in, no questions asked, sort it by point totals, I guess. But that is not this video here. This video is taking a look at a little bit of a different approach. Today's redraft is based off of this article from June 16th, 2017, before the draft. That's right, we're taking a look at the pre-draft rankings from the Hockey News, and we're redrafting the 2017 draft with these rankings. It's a weird exercise, I know, but to me, this is a little bit of an indicator as to how quickly things can change from the pre-draft rankings to even sometime in, I was going to say the long term, but it's not even really the long term, it's short term. This is 3 years ago. But let's go over the top 10 of the 2017 NHL Entry Draft because these are the picks we will be redrafting. Nico Hischier went first overall to the Devils, Nolan Patrick second overall to the Flyers, Heiskanen third to the Stars, Makar fourth to the Avalanche, Elias Pettersson went fifth overall to the Vancouver Canucks, Cody went sixth to the Vegas Golden Knights, Lias Andersson went seventh overall to the Rangers. My goodness, what a pick that turned out to be, eh? Next up, though, Mittelstadt 8th overall to the Buffalo Sabres, Michael Rasmussen went 9th overall to the Red Wings, and we had Owen Tippett drafted 10th overall by the Florida Panthers. This is our selection right here. Devils, Flyers, Stars, Avalanche, Canucks, Golden Knights, Rangers, Sabres, Red Wings, and Panthers, and the first overall pick belonging to the New Jersey Devils sees them selecting Nolan Patrick from the Brandon Wheat Kings. He's got the size, the NHL pedigree, and the two-way game that will make him a pro right away. When healthy, he's the total package, and I think that's the biggest key right there. When healthy. We still haven't seen a healthy Nolan Patrick yet in the NHL full-time, totally doing his thing and being the number one, number two projected player that we thought he was going to be back when he was drafted. It's unfortunate, but injuries have caught up to this guy in the pro level. He didn't play a game last year, so we'll see how his career shapes up, but the redraft has him going first overall because that's what it says here in the article. Second overall, you kind of know who's going here. It's Nico Hischier, second overall to the Philadelphia Flyers. Tons of upside in this dynamic and smart producer. Wouldn't be surprised if he turns out to be the best player in this draft class. Nico Hischier is a good player. Playing for the Devils, pretty strong, two-way guy, number one center, maybe. Who knows if you're going to do that with Jack Hughes on the team as well. But next up, third overall, this is where things get very interesting. Because with the third overall pick, the Dallas Stars are selecting from the Windsor Spitfires, Gabe Vilardi. With his excellent puck protection and an upper echelon hockey IQ, he's a guy who could get faster, but he is on his way to becoming a star in the National Hockey League. Everybody was kind of like, okay, Vilardi's going to be a top 5 player, top 3 even. And this article was published literally like a week before the actual entry draft. So you could kind of see the consensus with Gabe Vilardi back around this time frame. It's crazy that he dropped to 11th overall, but at the time there was consideration put towards those reasons. Things like health, things like skating, overall ability on the ice with his feet. Some teams just had other players up there in that spot instead, which is why he ended up going outside of the top 10, even though he was projected as a top 3 pick over here by the Hockey News before the draft even began. Next up, 4th overall, the Colorado Avalanche are proud to select from the HIFK hockey team in the Finnish Liga, Miro, Heiskanen. And man, Heiskanen Makar is a battle, you know? It's a battle of philosophies. What do you value more in a defender? The offensive upside like a Cale Makar, or the incredible all-round ability and skating that a Miro Heiskanen has? This is a guy who went 3rd overall in real life to the Stars. Everybody who's watched the playoffs knows how good this guy is. And he's a guy who in most redrafts that are actually redrafts, not like this dumb thing we're doing over here, he would be a top 3 pick. No questions asked. I mean, he was a top 3 pick in the real draft, but taking a look at his career going forward, he's a guy who could definitely win a few Norrises. Next up, though, 5th overall, the Vancouver Canucks. They're selecting from the Brooks Bandits of the AJHL. It is Cale Makar, another guy who can come out here and win himself a few Norrises in his career. He recently beat out Quinn Hughes in the battle for the Calder for 2019-20, which ironically was a Vancouver Canucks player too. Cale Makar was taken 4th overall in the real draft by the Colorado Avalanche, and he's a guy who everybody kind of knows. Exciting, tenacious, excellent skater, dynamic presence on the back end. He's bound for UMass next season, and he was great at UMass, Hobey Baker winner over there, and now he is an NHL rookie sensation. A guy who, honestly, I think he could have beaten out Pettersson if he was in the same rookie class as the super Swede from Vancouver. But Cale Makar, everybody kind of knows how good he is. He was projected to go around this range, which is where he went in real life. But let's continue as we get a little bit more interesting with the draft picks going forward. The 6th overall pick belongs to Vegas, and they're selecting with their very first draft pick ever. From the Eden Prairie High School Hockey League in Minnesota, it is Casey Mittelstadt. The University of Minnesota commit is still maturing physically, but the playmaking, vision, and puck handling is top shelf. And yes, these are all the qualities that made Casey Mittelstadt such an attractive package as a prospect. That's kind of why he stole the show at the World Juniors. His puck handling, his playmaking, all that stuff. The dangles, this guy was incredible, and it's why before his rookie season in 2018-2019, everybody was like, yeah, this guy's going to win the Calder. It's going to be his Calder to lose. If it's not going to be him, it might be that Elias Pettersson guy. Who knows? Because his skill is great in the SHL. We don't know if it's going to translate to the NHL. That's a discussion for later in the video. Next up, though, the 7th overall pick belongs to the New York Rangers. And they're selecting that Cody Glass, who ended up going 6th overall to the Vegas Golden Knights in real life. Cody Glass is a skilled, smart, and creative player, expected to dominate the WHL, which he did. Just needs to fill out his frame and up his compete level. He's a guy who, honestly, I think can be a very good NHL player. A very strong, all-round, offensively gifted center. A guy who definitely, we have not seen the best out of him at the NHL level just yet. Cody Glass is going to get better, and after his days with the Portland Winterhawks dominating that team, and then his time in the AHL as well, the best is indeed yet to come for Cody Glass. So I think with hindsight, Rangers fans would have been like, yeah, just please give us anybody except for Lias Andersson, because that did not work out well. Next up, though, 8th overall, this is belonging to the Buffalo Sabres. They initially took Casey Mittelstadt, but in a redraft, they're taking Owen Tippett, a player who has exhibited a similar path to Casey Mittelstadt, being up and down, NHL, AHL once in a while. Owen Tippett, man, what a great goal scorer this guy is. 30 goal potential in the NHL, in my opinion. The read-up over here says one of the most lethal goal scorers in the draft. Size, speed, and a great shot. Once he hones his play away from the puck, he will be golden. And as a guy who is indeed a Florida Panthers top prospect going into the long-term future, I'm excited for Owen Tippett. He was a point per game in the AHL this most recent season, which is great, especially since he is only 21 years old. The best is yet to come with Tippett, as we said about Cody Glass too. But next up, it's the 9th overall pick. The Detroit Red Wings are selecting from the Timber IK of the Allsvenskan, Elias Pettersson. And my goodness, what a great pickup this would have been at 9th overall. We've spoken about all the conspiracy theories, talking about how the New York Rangers actually traded up to 7 with the intention of taking Pettersson, but got absolutely cocked by the Vancouver Canucks, who picked him at 5. It was a reach at that time. People were like, yo, this Pettersson guy's probably going to go somewhere in the 9 to 13 range. Who's taking him at 5? Well, Jim Benning was, and he made the right choice there. Him going to Detroit, though, my gosh, that would be incredible. I think a lot of Red Wings fans would have been like, yeah, if I could trade Rasmussen for Pettersson, I'd do that in a heartbeat. But finally, wrapping things up, that Michael Rasmussen is going 10th overall here, over to the Florida Panthers instead of that Owen Tippett. Rasmussen has had a weird time adjusting into the NHL. Unlike the guys we've spoken about previously, like Tippett and Glass, Michael Rasmussen isn't really in that boat where I can confidently say, yes, he's going to get better. He's just going to keep on going and going and going. The best is yet to come. And while that may be true to some extent, Rasmussen has had a weird time transitioning from the Red Wings to the AHL. He played the season in the AHL this most previous season, under a point per game there. And obviously, since he is only 21, there's still a lot more time for Rasmussen to go forward. But, hey, if the Florida Panthers took this guy at 10th overall instead of Owen Tippett, you're looking at a similar but, in my opinion, inferior prospect development profile than that Owen Tippett, thus far at least. Who knows? Maybe Rasmussen becomes the best player of this draft in 5 years, and I'm eating my words. But obviously, this was just a fun exercise to do. This is our mock draft of 2017 Patrick to the Devils, Hischier to the Flyers, Vilardi to the Stars, Heiskanen to the Avalanche, Makar to the Canucks, Mittelstadt to the Golden Knights, Cody Glass to the New York Rangers, Owen Tippett to the Sabres, Pettersson to the Red Wings, and that Michael Rasmussen to the Florida Panthers. Talk to me in the comments what you think about this very weird redrafting scenario we did. I hope you enjoyed this video. /99. And bye.